Yo, peace, neighbors. Yo, what's poppin' with the population, man? It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron, aka Neighborhood. Y'all know the plethora of names by now, man. Welcome back to the greatest More Life show on the planet, man. As you guys can see, man, we back outside with it. And there's a lot of things going on in the neighborhood. You feel me? Let me say that again. There's a lot of things growing on in the neighborhood, man. We got sour sops growing. We got sour sops fruit and of course mangoes. We got jackfruits. We got a plethora of veggies and herbs that's flowering. We got pineapples. We got avocados, bananas, plantain. We got so much growing on in the neighborhood that could signify one thing and one thing only. What is that, neighbors? Huh? Talk to me. One thing is that we are walking into the true New Year. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Happy True New Year, man. Happy True New Year to everybody out there from the neighborhood to you. Some may call it the vernal equinox or, the mark of spring. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who don't know. And we're going to get into the whole specifics of it. But, man, I just want to take this time to say Happy True New Year, man. From your favorite neighbor to you. You feel me? I pray that this new year, this true new year, be full of growth in every aspect possible, mentally, spiritually, physically, on a cellular level. I pray that you get your health intact and tip-top shape, not just physically but internally. I pray that you take that business idea and put it into fruition. Act on it. I pray that you network more, build some relationships, some genuine relationships. I pray that you put yourself out there more. I pray that this year be full of healing and in alignment with a lot of things. With everything that's supposed to be for you in your next phase of your life. Pray that you be in the spaces, the places around the people that align with where you're trying to go, where you're trying to take it. You feel me? Pray that this year just be nothing but evolution. You heard? Continue to, be consistent, be diligent, be persistent, block out the noise, stop looking at what other people got going on and focus on what God got for you, you feel me? Stop focusing on other people's blessings, focus on what God has for you, you feel me? Because what God has for somebody else is never gonna work for you, you know what I'm saying? Never has and never will. And thus far that you not walking into your purpose, walking into your light, trying to use other people's methods and it hasn't worked so far should be the biggest signal that none of that is ever going to work for you. You know what I'm saying? So keep walking the journey, and continuously learn, keep learning, never stop being a student, and continue to just walk in your light, you heard? For those of you neighbors who are looking at me crazy or wondering why I'm saying Happy New Year when it's April, specifically speaking, we just got off of April Fools, you feel me? Because that holiday right there is going to tie into why we don't celebrate or acknowledge March 20th, vernal equinox, as the true new year anymore. You know what I'm saying? And, I am a little bit late, you feel me? I'm a few days late, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we coming out with this episode, you know what I'm saying? I've been meaning to actually drop a vernal equinox episode year after year, but I just never came out with it because I would wait too late to drop it and it'd be like 3 months from March 20th or vernal equinox and I just scrapped the video. But we coming out with it now. But just know there was powers that be few hundreds of years ago that, have April Fool does to believe in the new year is actually in January as to oppose March 20th. Now there's still some cultures out there, there's still some places like, say one place like Ethiopia that still acknowledge the new year and have the new year in alignment and their calendar in alignment with nature, with God and etc. But we the USA and other cultures, what I mean, have been far removed from believing that. And, I know things change, ancient times, things change, things evolve, but is it evolving with nature? Is it evolving with God? A lot of it would be no. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the reason why we've been fooled to celebrating the new year, January 1st, is all because the money, you know what I'm saying, the money. If you just look at what calendar means, it simply means debt. A lot of, you know, the Gregorian New Year and that calendar that we follow, a lot of those days of the months are only come about to structure depth, and that's the only reason why they came out with that calendar. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of us don't really know this stuff, so we just think that this is the way of life. It isn't. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason why every year, January 1st we try to come out with this a New Year resolution, and it never comes to fruition. It never sees out the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why a lot of the time going into New Year we don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? We feel depressed. We feel anxiety. We feel so unaligned from just nature, from just life, and just like nothing is going right. You know what I'm saying? That's because they done mixed us up, and we continuously in society get further and further away from nature. We continuously distance our cultures, our everyday activities, our holidays from God and from nature. And we're seeing it big time. It manifest amongst us. Ain't no kumdulati shit. It's some real life shit. Like we really used to align with nature more. You know, we used to align with the moon cycles, and our days of the month used to align with the women's cycle, the moon cycle, and the ladies' period cycle. Still to this day align together. You feel me? So why do our days not align? So before we get more into this episode, I forgot to do the neighborhood due diligence. For those of you who are new to the neighborhood, just moved into the neighborhood, the neighborhood due diligence is basically just showing love, man. Make sure to give this episode a like. Make sure to comment neighborhood, neighbor, or even comment Happy True New Year in the comments below. You know what I'm saying? Let your favorite neighbor feel that energy in them comments. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the neighborhood so we could continue to grow the neighborhood one neighbor at a time. You feel me? And go follow me on all my social pages at neighborhood nature underscore. Just think about it. I want you guys to really think about it. How can we possibly acknowledge a new year amongst us? How can we celebrate a new year when nothing in nature is renewing itself and when everything around us is dormant? Think about that, neighbors. Just think about it. Like, a lot of things in nature are dormant. Even if you live in a subtropical or tropical area, nature is still dormant. You know what I'm saying? You may see more animals and stuff like that because it's tropical. It's not cold out. But the plants, the fruit bearing trees that you see everywhere, the flowers that usually flower, certain parts of nature are just not um lively and green and flowering and bearing fruit. You know what I'm saying? So there is a period of dormancy everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain parts of the world, certain subtropical areas, places that's closer to the equator, they don't really experience the extremes of the period of dormancy that nature goes through because it doesn't get as cold. It doesn't go through that tundra period. You know what I'm saying? But for the rest of the world, even certain parts of Florida, certain parts of most parts of Cali, they experience the depths of dormancy that nature goes through. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing. Like, why are we celebrating? Why are we coming in with this renewed energy when nature itself is going through its period of dormancy? So that should let us know that nature is telling us that we should be going through our period of dormancy. I'm not saying we should stop working or we should stop grinding, but what I'm saying is we should take some time to ourselves, take some time to relax, chill, take some time to experience what truly is important to us. You know what I'm saying? And spend time with that. Take time away from just overly exerting yourself, you know what I'm saying? Being in every room, you know what I'm saying? Take some time to be in a room by yourself or with the ones that you love and get the healing done. Further your connection with God, you know what I'm saying? With self, with God. It should be your period of dormancy, and we don't acknowledge that. We want to jump into a new year, and the whole time we've been fooled. We've been April fooled to believe in that. April fooled away from nature. April fooled away from God. And that's all I'm just trying to relate to you guys. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get you guys to at least do some research behind before you start acknowledging these holidays that we've been celebrating, you know what I'm saying, for years, that we've been programmed to celebrate. By no means am I telling you don't celebrate no holidays, don't do this, don't do that. What I'm telling you is know why you're celebrating it. And if you are gonna celebrate, celebrate for a reason that is an alignment with God and behind bringing the family together and so forth. We've been told by society and the powers that be celebrating and acknowledge these holidays, but without even knowing the depths of why they're telling us to celebrate these holidays. A lot of these holidays, they remove God and nature out of it, and they replace God and nature with the dollar. And they turned us into top-notch consumers. Like, just think about it. It feels like every month there's a new holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't even keep up with it nowadays. We can't keep up with the time of day, or the time of day aligning with how the sun looks and the moon and all that stuff like that. That's why, daylight savings time, they always switching that shit up. And then we never could keep track of what holiday it is nowadays. You feel me? One, because we're so busy with our own lives and, trying to make that money. And two, is because it seems like there's a new holiday every month. You feel me? Every month there's a new holiday. And again, I know things change. I know things can't be like the ancient times. You feel me? When we used to celebrate things, but you know, why did we move off those things? Was it because God and nature called for us to move off those things? Or is it because man told us that that's where evolution is, to move off those things? Think about it. The more and more we integrate with what society is trying to integrate us with now, which is technology, we feel more depression, more anxiety, more than ever. And every time we go to a nature park, or every time we go to on a nature walk, or to the park or some shit, or be outside, we feel aligned. We feel healed. We feel a peace of mind. And that's because, like, we gotta get more in tune with nature. Nature is very cool. Getting in tune with nature is very cool. You know what I'm saying? Getting in tune with God is very cool. Falling out of alignment with nature and with God, that's not cool. You feel me? And you see it. You know what I'm saying? You feeling heightened anxiety. You feeling like a rush. Like you gotta get shit done all the time. You just feel this New York energy coming about you, which is good in the sense of building something, building, a career, building your businesses and so forth. But when are you gonna take time to be dormant? Take time to, really just sit with your thoughts, sit with your loved ones, enjoy just being still, neighbors. That's what the period of dormancy is for, to teach us to be still, be calm, and just relax, neighbors. Start to acknowledge the true New Year. This upcoming New Year for 2026. Don't acknowledge the Gregorian New Year, which is January 1st. Acknowledge the spring equinox as the New Year. And just see how things change. You feel me? A lot of us are going into the new year with these New Year resolutions. This renewed energy. We want to start walking into our purpose come January 1st, and we're wondering why that energy doesn't carry on throughout the year. That's because we're in a period where we're supposed to be dormant. We're supposed to be inside, where we're supposed to be chilling, or we're supposed to be out in nature, just relaxing, cooling, gathering our thoughts and just being at peace. I'm not saying not work at all, but work less. Trying to bring in this new energy where nature is not backing that energy. Nature's dousing that energy. You feel me? Just think about it. You know what I'm saying? Just think about, like, for example, I've been going to the gym for the past 2 years, just going crazy in the gym, doing my morning, getting it in the morning. You feel me? I want to ask you guys this: when is the busiest time of the year in the gym? When do the most memberships come about when it comes to these gyms? I got a question for you. When does your gym, your local gym or whatever gym you go to, experience the most volatility? Which month? Which month? It's January, February-ish, right? And that's simply because you got all these people who do these New Year resolutions every single year, who want to walk into the new year, try to sculpt their body out, or try to get rid of the liquor, try to get rid of the bad eating habits and all this other stuff. But they doing it in a period of dormancy, a period where they're supposed to get that stuff right in closed doors, where they need to put a plan together, a blueprint together, how they gonna attack this new version of themselves, how they gonna elevate and grow to the new version of themselves. And instead, they just trying to seek results right away, and they trying to do it with all this renewed energy. And that's why at the beginning of the year, you see all these people in the gym, these people you don't see all year long. They go into the gym, and towards the end of January, the beginning of February, those people just, slowly just dwindle out. You feel me? They just fall one by one. You know what I'm saying? They go back into their regularly scheduled programming. See all these people, you know what I'm saying? They going crazy in the gym. They going to the gym 4 days a week. It get to the end of January, you feel me? They start to dwindle out, you know, and them numbers start to decline. You heard? And it gets back to the regular people who been going to the gym. You feel me? Been at it. You know what I'm saying? And full discretion, neighbors. I'm not saying if you just go back to acknowledging the true new year and aligning your new year starting off with the vernal equinox or mark of spring, that life will full 360 change. But it's the little things, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you still gotta put one foot in front of the other. You still gotta act. You gotta follow those words with action. You gotta follow those prayers with action. You still gotta make the right decisions. You still gotta choose to not be around that same crowd. You feel me? You gotta choose to be in those rooms that you're not used to being in. No matter how weird you feel, you gotta choose to not eat that bullshit. You gotta choose to not pick up that bottle. You gotta choose to not smoke that bullshit or prescribe yourself that bullshit. You gotta make that decision, you feel me, at the end of the day. To keep it real with you, neighbors, people that's tired of life just going the same way, being depressed, stressed, and never feeling blessed, and that ready to walk into their purpose, ready to commit to be consistent, persistent towards their goals, their vision, their blueprint. People that are just tired of the same old shit happening, want to seek change. It doesn't matter what time of the year they gonna get to it and they gonna stay at it. The people last year that committed to change, they still on that pathway, that journey of change. You know what I'm saying? The people that committed to it 2 years ago, they still on that pathway of change till this day. At the end of the day, you gotta commit to it. It doesn't matter what time of the year. If you fed up with the way your life is going, you tired of not illuminating your light, walking in your light, walking in your purpose, you gonna get to it. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You know what I'm saying? But I just want you guys to know that we've been fooled out of being aligned with God and with nature. You know, a lot of things that we practice today, a lot of the cultures that we come up with and these diets and all this other shit that we come up with in this modern day society don't have nothing to do or have no correlation or no relationship to God and nature. You feel me? None at all. And again, we wonder why we normalize depression. When they started integrating more and more technology within our lives, you know, all this mental anxiety and shit became more prevalent. You know, it's not that we ignored it way back then. It's just that, you know, it wasn't around back then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, certain instances, like if you went to the army and shit like that, you know, you probably suffered from some mental illnesses. But in the modern day society, we didn't have as much mental anxiety and mental stresses and stuff like that because there wasn't any. You know, we were more involved with nature. We were more communicative to our neighbors. We were more outside. We were farming. We were more involved with agriculture. We walked places. We were going on runs. Fitness was a big thing back then. You know, it was more naturally in the culture back then. You know, natural movements and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So, and, you know, we also ate a lot of food that didn't give us all these health issues and mental disorders that we have today. Now, I'm not saying that we have to live in the past, but what I'm saying is take some of those principles, take some of those cultures back then, and you know, implement that into today's society. Implement that into your routine that you merge technology with. Go back outside, you know what I'm saying? Align your decisions with God, with nature. You know what I'm saying? Go outside, observe how nature makes its decisions. Observe how nature reacts to certain things. Observe how the animals go about life. Observe where God is trying to take your life. And implement that into your daily habits, your daily practices, and just your overall total well-being of life. Figure out why they gotta celebrate most of this shit and take what you want out of that holiday or whatever they gotta celebrate, and you celebrate it for those reasons. And make sure those reasons align with God and nature. Again, neighbors, I just want to leave you here on this point, right? They got us out here celebrating and acknowledging the new year in a period where nature is dormant. You know, there's no birds out, there's rarely any insects out, unless you live in a subtropical area. You may see some animals here and there. But for the most of the majority of the world, You know what I'm saying? That's not tropical. You know, it's going through its period of dormancy. You don't see no animals really like that. You don't see no insects like that. Most of the greenery around you is brown. You know what I'm saying? The grass is brown. The trees are brown. There's no leaves on the trees. You know what I'm saying? There's no flowers blooming. There's no renewance going on in nature. That's when they groomed us to bringing in this new year. Instead of acknowledging the Gregorian New Year, which is January 1st, as the new year and the period of dormancy, and trying to force this renewed energy that we have on life, which is telling us that we should be still, we should be calm, we should be finishing out the previous year, we should be taking some time to reflect, we should be taking some time to study, learn, um, put together a new blueprint, remaster the blueprint. This is the time when we should be doing all that. And then when it hits March 20th, when nature is coming back out, when nature is coming back alive, when the leaves is getting green, you know, the flowers is blooming on the plants, and the flowers is blossoming on the trees, the fruit is appearing, the fruit is bearing on the trees. That's when we should come out with that renewed energy. That's when we should truly pop out and show neighbors what we got in store and what we've been working on. That's when we should put that blueprint to work and continue throughout the year until next March. You know what I'm saying, to put that blueprint to work. If that blueprint requires more than 1 year, then you continuously chip away at it. You continuously put that blueprint to work. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's people a year ago who are still executing on that blueprint that they put together last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they're still at it. You know, we still gotta be persistent. We still gotta be consistent. Still gotta be persistent, and we still gotta continue to get it. But also, acknowledge when life and when nature is telling us it's okay to be dormant. It's okay to be still. It's okay to be out in nature and just be at peace. It's okay to just be inside and just relax and learn and reconfigure that plan. You dig? I'm just so fired up about the true new year and about us really truly acknowledging this as the real new year, you know what I'm saying? Because it just makes sense. Think about it. Life is vibrant and it's alive now. It's not vibrant and alive in the Gregorian New Year. Life is dormant, you know what I'm saying? So that's not the time to be putting our renewed energy into something. You know what I'm saying? Or to start something. You know what I'm saying? Now if you're continuing something, then continue. But starting something or starting to channel something, no, you feel me? So let's get outside. Let's get back in tune with nature. Let's get in alignment with God. You know what I'm saying? And let's stay on the journey. Let's stay on the path God has us on. Let's incorporate nature into our doings, and let's continue to get growing so our health could get to glowing. When we outside, you already know the mainstay motto. You gotta put your hands on your chest for this one. Grow your own / support true righteous local growers, or continue to rely on a broken system to supply you their own. And we all know what they supply us with. Dis-ease, disconnection, unalignment, list goes on. Continue to rely on society to have you celebrating these holidays that are turning us into top-notch consumers. Continue to rely on society to give us fake food and dis-ease and discomfort and disconnection. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? But in the neighborhood, we know better, so we gonna do better. And do your neighborhood due diligence. Make sure to give this episode a like. Make sure to comment neighbor, say happy true New Year's. Let your favorite neighbor feel that energy in them comments below. Subscribe to the neighborhood if you haven't already. Go follow me on my socials at neighborhoodnature_. Also, if you want to start growing your own, but you don't want to start from seed, go tap into the neighborhood nursery. We got seeds, we got herbs, we got plants for sale. And we are gonna be giving away some soon. Let's get to it. To get through it, peace, love, light, much healing energy to you and yours. It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron. Happy True New Year's. See you on the next one. You dig?